Okay, question number 15. So this time we have some kind of survey data, which is always a challenge to clean the survey data because of the data structure, the way the question is labeled. So let's have a look what we have. We have one as your data. Yeah, but the first column, we notice the first row as your column headers. Then everything below, you have ID, that's good. At least that's give you some kind of unique field. You have a datetime, which is separate. Then there's a lot columns with kind of metrics. Now the things they mentioned is number 38 is a special column. So the age column. What they did there in column 38, you do have age on the first one, then you have the score in the first one, then you have the age range. So we kind of need to do some passing for the age data. Everything else, we go all the way to the end. We have up to column F99. So within 99 columns, then was a record ID in the first one. So yeah, so we have a 99 column, but once we pass the age out, what we have is we have 100 column in total. Data is 33 rows, so that's not that many rows. In terms of question, now the question, it turns out, is kind of like pivoted for us. You do have an individual question ID and some kind of categorical variables for labeling for the questions. Main thing is they corresponding to the column number. This isn't too bad because we can add just an F to this, then we can join on the column headers. Last one, we want to publish some kind of response. We just want to get date, time, their score, and age range. I didn't even pick the table head. Then once that's done, they're looking for the last is some kind of visualization. Now for us, we're gonna skip the last part of visualization. Let's do this challenge. There's two ways to do it. One's more like manual way of doing it. So we need to add the date, time. So we can just use regular select. Because for us, we know what the column we want. We can drop everything. We need a response, we need the date, we need the time, that's column 38. That's the one we try to handle. Let's run it. Cool. Agent purple not to say, so corresponding to the final answer, you just adding additional column for the header we want. What you could do is you could pivot your values. Sorry, you can pass your values out of it. So dynamic rename. We do have for all those turns goes up, then we can do a passing text columns. Text columns because we know the last is age separated by the dash. We're actually looking for only two columns, so we want this thing to be passed on the first dash. Then that's that, and select. So we can just rename. What do you call it? For this one, you can go to answer. Control C. Control V. Then that's age group, I guess. Yeah, and that is they got a age value. So that's one way to do it. It's very manual way because you know exactly what the column is. The issue is what happens when you say that modify the question, then the column number shifts. So you probably have additional questions sliding. So 38 does not represent an age group anymore. We want to make things a bit more dynamic instead. And this can be a bit more challenging to do. Let's give this thing a try with the data. The first thing, I want to pivot. When you have a very wide format, usually the first thing is you want to pivot to long. We have record ID. Yeah, that should be fine, record ID. So wide to long format, then put it in a container. That's kind of one way it's done. So you pretty much try to pivot everything. I think probably you want to keep on columns. Mhm. Because the final answer for data 2 is start from column 4. So you really want to keep column 1, 2, 3 away basically. The last column is not used as well. So you probably want to group column 1, 2, 3. You may need the last column. Yeah, the last column is redundant columns. We may not worry about it. Response name, query framing, that's fun. What's S4 is about? So you have ID, data, column, header, values. Actually, let's just do some dynamic rename out first. I want to probably preserve the first three column headers. So select 1, 2, 3, and then wherever the last column is. First row of the data, we'll try to bump up those numbers. Everything else we're going to pivot, we'll try to handle separately. Too many columns. Did I select all? Yeah, let me recap. I want 1, 2, 3, and the row column. No, I don't want all the column to bump up because we want to keep the F3, F4s, etc. as it is. So we can do some join with the next part of the data set. So we need to rerun the workflow. So the first three columns, the last columns should be grouped by, everything else is pivoting. Let's have a look. Da-da-da. So the response ID, no, those are fine. I think this looks okay. I feel like I lost my. Da, 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 da. Yeah, actually, let me redo this again. I think it's better to have a record ID. It's the call. We're calling it a special case. I want to keep everything record ID and row ID. Then I want to pivot. So what to long? This basic example demonstrates group ID pivot. The data transformation is easy. Column head on the other hand because they are different from the data. It's kind of like metadata. They make things a bit difficult to handle. Now, once we group those things, you notice record ID, everything pivot is the header row. So when record ID equals 1, it's different from the other columns. So we can filter out. So let's say record ID equals 1. That's basically the headers. Everything else, that's actually the data columns. So what we want to do is we have F columns. So for the questions, pretty much all the columns there. We just need to add F into the string. So everything has common is F1, F2, F3, etc. We can do some kind of join. Let's is that colon called it's integer. So let's call the header column name. We want to do is f plus toString of colon. I would say we have all the f columns. Then we probably can do is let's see. I think we can probably do multi-join. Or probably I can't because multi-join does not give the left join. Let's just try to the name first. Column names. So the F column does join us. So if, for example, like this one. So that's the first. This will be the first row. That will be the column. So the column header should be for F54. The question asked should be surveyor, and that's group by for the ID. So that's not the best way. Let me join those correctly to the column. What do you want? You want the response ID, date, time, querying. You want the because what all the thing try to do is I'm trying to get this thing dynamically onto our data set. So that's like a fifth for the querying panic. Yeah. So the original column header, that's like a generic name for each things. That's not the question that's asked. It's the header. So the original header, the one showing the screen, is depending like a backend what the column is trying to tell. While for the question header, header ID, column names, labels, blah blah blah, you probably text. So that's probably like the things of the one above, like those ones. They are kind of like the question that's actually asked on the survey questions. So probably one of those is column header. It's not the best practice, but since we're here, we can give it a try. So as a join, we don't want to call a header. Let's try join column IDs. So the left hand side we have F names column and column name. So that's join name. Do we still need for the right side column name is fine. We don't need column. Keep column name. So most stuff should be joined. We have some rows that's unjoined. That's fine. So that's to do a column 1, 2, 3 under 99. Column 1, 2, 3 under 99. Da, da, da. So we'll do a separate join. So the left join come out is the column 1, 2, 3 because that's kind of like response ID, date, time column. That's not come from the questionnaire. So for those who cannot join, we go back to your original the header column. We try to pass out the headers. So we're still going to join on the name column. Name going to join. Left hand side, the name we don't care at all. We need the joint record ID. Those are the record ID we don't care. Values we care, want to pivot back. So the left-hand side of the value corresponding to the column header name, the right-hand side of the value corresponding to the column data. So that's fine. All the same column one, two. Let's pivot those both wide. So it's long format, long to wide. We probably want to group right ID. That's the individual row. The first row we don't need because that's a header row. What's a header? Header come from the value. The actual value come from the right value. We'll probably concatenate. So yeah, that's good. And I give out dummy ID row. So order row from 2 up to 30 rows, 33 rows. So it's about 32. Then we have the 4 column headers we need. And for the extra data, we probably don't need any of those things. We probably just want a text, question type, those kind of meta information for the question. We don't care. So we're going to do another long to wide. So we're still going to probably group by row ID. That's the row level. The column header comes from the text. Then the column value comes from the value. Concatenate is fine. We got 96 rows. Yeah, most of the stuff is here. Yeah, because of the pivoting. So any space, Alteryx does not like a space. So I try to handle with the underscore for those things. What's the best way to handle it? You can use another dynamic rename to replace those names to a better version. Dynamic rename, because they come out as a B, so presumably the column is coming with alphabetical order. So the question is text. How do we handle the text? We can sort of come back. We need to probably sort the name. This means trying all the different solutions. We probably want to. The annoying thing is because the position of those characters has been changed. Maybe. Let me try again. So rather than use, I think I can use pivot my F column first, but I can use dynamic rename to replace the F column later because in this table everything is joined together. So I should use my F column, so the name column, that's the header. That should make things unique. On top, I sort as F3. Yeah, it's probably sorted by F numbers. That's fine. Then I can dynamically replace. Let's give it a try. We get input. So we're going to replace the headers. So we're going to take from first row data now, from the right input rows. So how do you want to position all the field name from the column? So all the field name come from name column. So that's a name column. That's I'm going to use name. Then a new field name column should come from text column. That's when dynamic rename became more powerful. Mhm. Oops, that's a lot of miss errors. Let's see. 96 rows. 96. Okay, let me just put a unique on it. Because all the one you come from, we have a multiple data set because we have a different group ID. I don't care about them. I just care the name and the text pair. So that should produce a unique list of the F column and the name. Then this 95 rows. Oh, there's one column had a mismatch. 96 row. I think it's the record ID. That's a mismatch. Yeah, I think the one mismatch probably from the record ID. But compared with previous step, you can see, at least with the dynamic rename. Oh, let me zoom in a bit. The column header are much cleaner, so you have your regular space rather than replaced with underscore. Of course, if you actually doing the data analysis, this type column header is useless. You probably want to change to a different type of column header. So the original type grouping is a better way of doing it. So I just want to use this exercise to demonstrate additional tools like dynamic rename we can use. Now that's done. That's 96 rows. You will record ID with corresponding record ID. That's kind of metadata information. We can do additional join. So hopefully that's should match up everything. Hopefully we don't lose it. So the left hand side where ID, we can drop it. We don't need it eventually. So the right hand side is all kinds of questions. You can see it's a very long list. We may not need all those guys. I just want to get rid of the record ID. So data method, source file name, probably just move up. Inner join. So we get 32 rows. If you remember, in the initial input, we have 33 rows because the first row is header. That is header is kind of handled on the top. So it becomes 32 rows. Date time, your response ID is kept as it is. Everything else in the column header has come out nice and clean. Is the easiest to do research? Well, like I said, do the analysis? No, it's absolutely not. It's very hard to find the column you're looking for. That's why you actually want to almost reverse. If you more likely to get survey data like this, you almost want to reverse engineer to change the column header in the more recognizable format. Of course, when those are done, to find the original question. So tell expect what's the question? Tell us feature today. Tell us about your experience. So now in the 23, version 23 Alteryx, you can actually search in the select, make life app easier. ALEA, please tell. So actually, let's deselect everything. ALEA, please tell. So that's the one single column we get. Metadata, 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 response ID, let bump up. Oh, no, oh, hopefully it's not crashing. Once it finished running, but we should be able to see that's how we're going to get similar results above. And of course, this goes through a very long, complicated way of doing data transformation. Other thing is to do the difficult come from the original dataset has the header involved in the dataset, and you want to replace header with some kind of lookup table. And the lookup table header, even though it's long format, the white space may cause you trouble to do the dynamic rename. If you want things to keep it dynamic, so you can compensate for any size of questionnaire. You have 10 questions, 100 questions. That's why the second process take a bit longer to process. And they try to join on column header number rather than almost like position, rather than specific menus like F38, which in practice, for various survey, you may find it difficult to implement. So I'll pause the video. Hopefully, I'll have the results. Thank you very much. Just quick to see, rerun the workflow. So we can see we can select the required column, get the columns we need as before. P parts out, we can do exactly the same as before. Text column, we can split the last columns. I've got this format. You could, generally speaking, a bit more dynamically select the on the top. You have a search bar. You can start to select the column you want and output the data corresponding. Is that the best practice to represent the column in the data set? Absolutely not. Does that happen in real life to be given a data set with those columns? Yes. So that's just a side note as well.